So today, Sky Sports came out with a few interesting options of what could happen with the rest of the Premier League season, considering it has now been suspended due to the coronavirus. And I don't know, some of them are a bit mental and some of them seem slightly logical. So in this video, I'm going to be going through the options and saying what I think and personally what I think should happen with the rest of the Premier League season. So without further ado, let's get straight into it. So of course the first option would be cancel the season, make it null and void. It never happened. Now, wow, it's a pretty extreme option to just completely cancel the season and just make it completely null and void, and that's it. That's the end of the season. I think it would be slightly unfair on Liverpool if they go this entire season with only losing one game for it then to not get the title, and then that's it. They just move on to next season. It does seem a little harsh to me, even though I think it would be the funniest thing ever to see Liverpool fans be so triggered over the fact that the season where everything was to happen, it then gets cancelled. But yeah, personally, even though it would be funny, I think it's not the correct decision at all to do that. Now the next sort of variation is that is to cancel the season from now and declare Liverpool the winners of the Premier League. Now, in my personal opinion, if they are to make the season null and void, this would be the most fair option, because Liverpool have worked hard, and cutting the season off at this point suit me down to the ground. Chelsea, fourth place, Champions League next year. But I know there'll still be clubs that will complain, especially ones that are in the relegation places or ones that are just sort of teetering on the edge of a European spot. I know Manchester United will probably not be very happy with the fact they didn't get their chance to get into the top four and get Champions League football. But in my personal opinion, they should have been there in the first place. You know, if you're going to really complain about not being in the Champions League, then how about you complain at the team for the fact that they weren't in the top four to begin with, and you were having to actually find your way into the Champions League. I guess the same could be said for teams in the relegation zone. They'll be like, oh, we wanted to, get out and we were on our way out. But I think the fans should be more unhappy with the fact that the team was there in the first place. I know Karen Brady was very sort of vocal in saying that she wanted the season done and dusted now. And you can see why, because West Ham definitely facing the drop this season, and she doesn't want them to go down to the Championship, especially with that massive stadium that they've got, which they can't really do much about now. I guess you sort of, along those sort of lines, you could call the season null and void, and then no one goes down, no one sort of goes up, but Liverpool are sort of still crowned champions. I guess that is a kind of option that you could do, but I don't think that's sort of one that is a very good option at all, because it is, because there are so many things that are decided within the Premier League season. You've got the top four for Champions League, then you've got Europa League qualifiers, and then who goes down, and then not having anyone relegated from the Premier League then affects the entire EFL, because a team's going to go up to the Premier League. Have Leeds and West Brom done enough to go to the Premier League, and then they have no one to relegate it? What about the teams in the Championship playoffs? You've got the likes of Fulham, Forest, Brentford. Can't remember the fourth one. But they've sort of now lost their opportunity to go into the Premier League. So it's not exactly fair on them. And then same thing for League 1, League 2. And it just affects the entire English thing. It even goes down to the conference North, South. And then those divisions, they all get screwed up by if there's no one relegated from the Premier League. So, if they were to cancel the season, I would be in agreement that the teams in the bottom three should go down, and vice versa for sort of all the rest of the league, so they can all keep going on as normal. Now, a sort of suggestion, if there wasn't to be any teams to be relegated from the Premier League and the Premier League state as it is this season, would be that Leeds and West Brom would be promoted from the Championship, therefore making the Premier League have 22 teams. Now, I guess it is fair on West Brom and Leeds, who deserve to be currently in the automatic promotion spots, and then it's also somewhat fair for the teams who are in the relegation zone to still retain their Premier League spot. But then you still got the playoffs, and then what happens to the rest of the leagues? Do then the Championship go down to 22, or does that even still go up to like 23 because the team from League One's still going to go up? There's so many issues with trying to fiddle around with the promotion relegation type thing, and it just doesn't make too much sense to me to fiddle with it. I think it should be kept the way it is, because the way that it is, it works, and then you get a consistent amount of teams. So will then the Premier League just always have 22 clubs now? Or will then, 5 teams then get relegated to the Championship next season? I really struggle to see how that would work effectively, and whether it would actually be a good solution to this problem. Personally, I think that would also be an absolutely terrible idea. Even though, just don't have them 22, just have the bottom 3 go down. I don't know how playoffs would work if there is time over the summer where the virus calms down a bit, and this is what we see sort of like a dip or decline in the summer. Maybe Championship and EFL playoffs can take place then, or just playoffs in general can take place then, just to see what happens and just keep the leagues normal and not messed about with. Of course, the final solution is that the coronavirus passes and we start the season again, perhaps behind closed doors, and just sort of continued. I'm completely for the Euros being delayed. I think with what's happened, I think the Euro should be delayed until 2021, which, it can cause some issues, but it's not like how it's working. It's not like it's one country hosting. It's multiple countries across Europe, including England, Spain, Italy, I think, all taking place and hosting games. So I don't think it'd be such a bad idea to even delay the Euros just by a year. I know we have a Winter World Cup in Qatar, but that was going to screw things up anyway, and it should never have taken place in Qatar in the first place, if you ask me. So it's tough to say, but if the season is able to resume next month, then it's safe to do so. I'm very happy for football to return and the rest of the season to be played, because that is the only way you're going to make everyone happy, is by playing out the rest of the season and having the teams complete all their games, so we know who is going to go out, who's going to go down, who's going to go up, who's going to get Champions League, Europa League, etc., etc. And then we just have no Euros, and then we start again in September. So those are all the options that were put forward by Sky Sports. Some of them more ridiculous than others. Personally, if the season is able to resume safely, I'm all down for that. Otherwise, I think the season should just end as it is. The positions are where they are, and the teams that are in the relegation go down, teams in the promotion go up, and if there's an opportunity to play playoffs potentially before the season starts, then I think we should be able to do that. But we will see. Only time will tell. There's definitely tougher times coming up, but we are seeing encouraging signs from especially countries like China, where the coronavirus has hit its peak and now it's starting to decline in cases. So hopefully European countries, America and such, can take initiative and try and end this sort of pandemic as soon as possible. It sucks that we have no football, I have no motorsports to watch, no absolute anything to watch, even though there will be a blog post coming out about the Not Australian Grand Prix, because that was truly brilliant and I enjoyed every single moment of that. So a video about that, actually a blog post about that, should be coming out very soon. So guys, thank you so much for watching. Let me know what you think should happen to the season in the comment section down below. I've already made myself clear, so if you are new here, make sure to subscribe. If you did like this video, make sure to leave a like. My name's been Louis Edwards. Thank you so much for watching. Good.